As the production stage manager, I am the one running the rehearsal room. So I'm deciding with the director what needs to be done so that we make sure the show is rehearsed and ready to go into tech. It is currently 7:02, and we are about 12 minutes out from our crash pad and lift call. 12 minutes, 12 minutes. Happy dress rehearsal number 1.
Brendan, you ready?
When we start teching the show, I am given all of the light cues from our light designer. I'm given all of the media cues from my media team, and then I'm given all of the sound cues. And so they all go into my script, and there's a board operator who's actually pressing a go button, and I call all of those cues. And I also have a cue light backstage to cue the actors when to go on. Light 17, go. Lights 18, go. I have 500 lighting cues, roughly 30 media cues, and 8 sound cues, plus actor standbys and goes for their entrances and transitions. Go. Lights 20, go. So during the performance, I am sitting at my call station, and I have the script and score in front of me, and I have everyone on comm. So I have my ASM team on comm, I have the PA, I have the light board operator, media operator, the mixer, our music director, and so they're all listening to me the entire time I'm calling all of the cues during the show. Lights 5 and house out. My job is to keep the director's vision intact, and so am I calling a show that is keeping the director's vision from when they left on opening night? Am I putting on a show that is what they want and what they left the show with? I love what I do. I love every moment I'm in rehearsal, every tech, every performance I get to be backstage or in a booth, calling a show or working as an assistant stage manager. Go. I'm so lucky to be doing this every single day.
My job as a scene designer is to solve the puzzle to help us tell these stories.
We're flipping it over.
So when I came on to this project, the department informed me that they were looking for a sweet charity that was streamlined and simplified. And that led us to the television variety shows. They had this really simple aesthetic because it would be a big open soundstage, a cyclorama behind, and then some really simple scenery pieces to set the stage for whatever act was on stage. So the towers came out of a conversation with our director, Diane. She was looking for something on stage that would give us height, something that would allow us to have different levels for the actors so they just all weren't on that stage floor all the time. So if we're going to have these units, these towers on stage, how can we give them as much function as possible so we don't have to have a pile of other set pieces and furnitures coming on and off stage? She suggested, well, maybe they are levels that can move around the space and we can use them to suggest different locations. Charity and Oscar need to get stuck in an elevator. So the bottom part of one of these towers could be the elevator.
Oh boy.
Oh, I had a friend who was stuck in one once for 8 hours.
Instead of bringing a whole bed on stage, let's just throw some covers and some pillows on the base of one of these and it becomes a bed. Let's hang some clothes in one of them and it becomes a closet for Charity to hide in. Let's add some seats to the bottom of one of these towers. So all we have to do is add a table and boom, we have a booth for the Pompeii Club and for Barney's. So it was figuring out all of those functional needs, trying to figure out how to cram them in to these 3 units. So we had little other scenery having to come out. So it was just nice and fluid the entire time.
What we're about to do, we're going to move the towers into the downs.
I do not engineer them. That is all in credit to Troy, our technical director, and his team. He gave me some advice on some ways to make things stronger and better, and his team were the ones that made them so rigid and stable. That is all to them.
Okay, ready? There you go.
What do you
Perfect.
do if it does that? You just
Hammer it in?
Or do you have to take endnotes? Like, how do you...
If you can pull it out, this is like King Arthur. I don't think you can pull it out.
When everything clicks, when that scenic element makes that turn and a character is revealed and bam, we're in that next location, that's when we know it's all right. Those are the successes that I am always searching for.
Want that line running this way as opposed to running this way.
The first portion of any kind of design for me is establishing the visual language. We had Josh's scenic designed very early, so he has a very clear vision for how this show should be. We wanted to have this studio feel. We wanted a ceiling of lights. We're running more cable than we normally would use. We're hanging more lights than we would normally have. We're using lights that we would not typically use on a show because of their age. This show is a love blast. The show is not meant for a slight stroke of color. No, we want full blast, we want full shifts.
Hey, mister, you got a cigarette for me?
Hey, mister, you speak French? Come here, I want to talk to you.
As a lighting designer on a show, you are a stop point with many people coming to you for information. And it's always about that time crunch. Go ahead and just make that straight with my foot. Great. Cassidy, yes. Upstage cut of 22, offstage cut to stage floor, downstage cut to 14. I have 2 assistants on this show, Sydney Riddle and then Cassidy Schley. They're helping me with paperwork, they're helping me with calling focuses.
Bracket to make it straight.
The second half of our lighting team is our electricians group, and that's led by Nate Miller. Nate Miller has all the electricians underneath him, and he is responsible for the actual installation of all the things. At Loden, I want to say that we had a crew of 30 people, somewhere in that ballpark, and that would be 30 undergraduates. And then the last big member on our team would be Riley Rowan, who's our programmer. So he's the one I'll actually talk to the most during the show because he'll be back on the board clacking away at the keys. The subway is peak cartoon for this show. Riley found this long track gobo that we were able to spin and form actual tracks. We hung the yellow lights on the back wall that really isolated that window.
If I'm wrong, you don't have to keep the date.
That's peak variety show.
You work in a bank, right?
The beauty of any show is you go in with the best intentions, you go in with the best ideas. If I stick to those ideas and never adjust, I'm going to fail the show.
All right, I'm going to trust you.
Because I'm not the only designer in the room. I'm not the only artist in the room. It's wrong for me to hold my idea over the collective of the show. Ultimately, a lot of the things that I wanted to bring in, I think will make it into the show, and I think are looking great. But ultimately, we're going to have to adjust, and that's what we want to do. That's the fun of it.
So Sweet Charity is set in New York in the 1960s. Charity works in a dance hall and kind of a seedy club. And this scene in particular is a scene where she's left her club and she's a guest at this very swanky, highbrow club. And so she's seeing sort of like how the other half lives in this moment. So the hats and the costumes in that scene are designed to be very over-the-top, opulent, elegant, and kind of alien to her, very different from everything else in the rest of the show. So these hats were built by a student here, Nato Herman. This one is a fabric hat that you can see they actually draped over a baseball cap. So we've sort of created this very vibrant company of players who can sort of become whoever they need to be, like they might if they were performing on a sketch comedy show. They can real quick throw on a hat, throw on an accessory, and transform into whoever they need to be. I really love the process of costume fittings. We've been doing all these fittings, been like working with every different performer. And there's something about when you found the right thing, the performer's body language changes, and the button fly is like a cool detail. Like, I think that's great. If they feel comfortable for you, like you still got your full range of motion and everything.
Full everything.
Fantastic.
So good.
Take a dive and swim to daddy. Take a dive and swim to daddy. Swim.
see like a little light in their eyes of like, oh, I get it, like I'm that person. And I love that moment when I see them like kind of come to life and spark a little bit and be like, ah, okay, I did it right. I got you what you needed in order to do your job. Perfect.
Gracie's right here. Oh, okay. Yeah. And then I'll just have Lauren come view. So with Charity, what we're doing is something just super classic, a nice like neutral brown color palette. And then we do lots of white under the eye because it really just makes them pop. Charity has both top and bottom eyelashes, which I think is very important because that's honestly one of the biggest things of the 60s was the lashes. They were huge, they were very recognizable. And then we just put on a red lip for her, just standard, classic, nothing too crazy because we really want her character to speak for itself.
Sign it, Charity. No. Make that sweet, Charity.
Ursula's character is like the bougie wife of a movie star. I had a lot of fun designing hers. I just try to kind of emulate that old Hollywood glamour. So for her wig, which all the wigs were styled by Emily Kemmerer, she is the other grad student. She wears a Hollywood swoop, just very old Hollywood glamour. And then I had some reference photos of Elizabeth Taylor for her designs. I ended up designing a grayish purple, just kind of smoky, kind of like, you know, doll kind of bedroom eye because she's very sexy, glamorous, wife of, you know, movie star. For Charity, she has the most intricate microphone system in her wig. We pin all her hair down and then we put the first wig cap over it. Then the costume shop actually sews us these little pockets that we pin to the wig cap and then we put the microphone pack in those pockets. So she ended up having 3. After we put her 3 mic packs on her head, then we put another fishnet wig cap over that to make sure those hold in place. It's me, world, Charity. It's sappy, but like I really just am like so happy that I finally get to be pursuing my passions. Also, it's such a specific skill set that honestly, it's a very high demand right now. People that know how to work with wigs, I mean, you can work on, films, Broadway. You could work with drag queens. It's really an in-demand job. And so I'm honestly just really excited to see, what shows we do next and to actually be able to do what I love every day.
Do is hang on to that one. And Mick, we only need to move 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters. How does that do it? Does that do it?
Yeah. We're geniuses.
Well, modest as well.
Copy, thank you. All right, everybody, let's do a show. Cassidy, ready? Casey, Lauren, Brady. All right, Laura, Will, Sage, Hannah Kate. Let's get Ian ready.
There is too much scenery in the way. I can't see this, so I'm going to trust your eyes. And you are now allowed to put assistant to the assistant lighting designer. Yep.